Hey guys, it's Jamise and welcome back to my channel for part 2 of 18 ways to know that it's time to quit your job. We left off on number 10. I found it in my notes. And we were just really talking about the different mindsets that you might find yourself having in a job that it's time to move on from. And the goal here is to encourage you to take a thoughtful and intentional approach to deciding when it's time to move on from your job, because it is possible for it to be like methodical and graceful and more objective with like less drama and emotion involved in the decision. And then once you make the decision, you'll be on your way. And if you've already decided and you just need some support and you would like to go deeper than the content that we're covering on the channel, check out the links in the description. So number 10, and if you haven't seen part 1, definitely go check that out. Number 10 is that you have a fixed mindset and fixed thinking. It's like a woe is you type of mentality. And so when we think about examples of a fixed mentality, you might say that you're too old or you're too young, you don't have enough experience, you have too much experience. And I remember thinking that when I was changing careers, the first time, and the second time, but then after that, you get used to it. The first time, I made an internal job change, and so that came with its own challenges, but at least I was already at the company, I had relationships, and then it was a matter of looking at the internal job board to see what roles were available. And I struggled with getting clear on which roles were the right fit for me. So I spent quite a bit of time applying for roles that were like not my ideal. And if you want to know more about how to identify the job that's right for you, to find work that you love, I did a video on that. Check it out on my channel. And I talk you through the N+2 method, which I live by when it comes to your career and making career and job changes. But yeah, that fixed thinking, I thought that because I had worked in the financial services industry basically most of my career except for like internships, I thought that it was too late. I was like, well, I guess, I should have left a year ago, or I should have left when I first got here and didn't like it. But that was just my brain trying to protect me and keep me safe, because technically our brains are wired to not want to like change and to not want to move on. When people talk about being creatures of habit or something like that, creatures of comfort or something like that, it's rooted in the fact that like technically your mind and brain is wired to want what's predictable, what's known, and what's considered safe. But the way I switched how I thought about it was, if I'm working somewhere that's making me physically ill and I experience burnout to the point where I had to literally take time off from work, maybe this ain't the safest place for me, right? So like that's when you have to really challenge that fixed thought and that limiting belief that's saying, stay here, it's safe. You get a paycheck every 2 weeks, and it's like, you can get a paycheck anywhere you're willing to go and work, and you can probably get a paycheck that has more zeros on it if you leave. And there are stats that show that when you're leaving, when you're growing, negotiating salaries, things like that, it's possible to make more money by leaving. But that's not the only reason why we're leaving. We're leaving because you have goals, you have dreams, you have ambitions to write books and film plays and be healthy and happy again. So yeah, that's just an example of the fixed mindset you might be experiencing. And that's a good reason to challenge that mindset and get on about that job that you hate. Number 11, you have an all or nothing approach to thinking about it. So all or nothing thinking, black or white thinking, it's like the job is all bad, the manager is all bad, the team is all bad, you cannot find any good. I want to like when you are thinking that way, it's not that healthy. So like if you're going to stay in the job, it's probably best to adapt a different mentality. And even if you're going to leave the job, it's probably not the best mentality to have during the job search either, because God forbid you start applying for jobs and you don't hear back from a recruiter. Now all recruiters are bad. Or you apply for a position, you get a first round interview but not a second round interview. Now the job market is bad. Or you make it to the final round and they don't choose you. Now the job search process is bad. So you see how they can just get you down like a rabbit hole that you don't need to be in, okay? We're trying to get you out the hole. Ain't no need in hopping back into a brand new one. We're trying to get you into these new horizons, not into a new black hole. So working on your mindset now would be beneficial, but it can be challenging if you're not putting forth the effort for your job search, or maybe you're putting forth the effort but you're not being effective because you need more support. And if that's the case, check out the links in the description below if you would like to go deeper and receive more support with your job search process. Number 12, you've developed a critical mindset. This is a big one. Going back to the example with the interviews, if you don't hear back from a recruiter, or if you get a first round and not a second round, now you view yourself as a failure. You view the job search process as this impossible thing to do. And guys, I know it's still happening, so I'm gonna just say it. But this is a good teachable moment. With a critical mindset, you might be calling yourself dumb or stupid. You might also be using words that I view as equivalent to that, which is you saying shoulda, coulda, woulda. You should have said this in the interview. You could have done this better. You would have done this if the recruiter had told you that. There's no upside to shoulda, coulda, woulda statements. There's no upside to calling yourself dumb and stupid, okay? In fact, that is a coping mechanism that you probably grew up witnessing other people use, or however it got into you, even if it was just Satan who sent it. It was helpful for you in the past because it felt like you were doing something about this situation that you felt you didn't have control over. But I want to help you to know you're not there anymore, wherever you were when that was happening. You're not a child anymore. You're not a teenager anymore. You're not a high schooler. You're not a person without work experience and things of that sort. And so I just want to be very sensitive around this critical mindset thing, because that's what we also call maladaptive coping skills. I was about to go on a tangent and say, for all my Spanish speakers, malo, bad, adaptive. We want to be taking on an adaptive approach. So let me coach you through what you would do instead. Well, first you would stop, but it's not enough to stop saying it. You have to find something to replace it with. So what I like to say instead of should, could, would is if I'm given the opportunity to try this again, here's what I would try. If given the opportunity to try it again, I might consider something like this. However you want to frame it, just try not to say shoulda, coulda, would. And then as far as like not calling yourself dumb and stupid and stuff, like that's really like a self-esteem thing. Like people who have self-esteem and have learned to love themselves, because it can be a process, especially if you've had harsh background, upbringing, career experiences. But yeah, if you struggle with like not calling yourself dumb and stupid, you might want to pause on the job search process. And I'm not saying that jokingly. I mean that like very seriously, to address whatever underlying stressors are contributing to that. And then once you are ready to come back to the job search process, because that's what it is, a process. It's a major project and a major undertaking, then you do that, right? So, yeah, let's see how we're doing on time. Okay, we'll get through a couple more. Number 13, you talk about how, you start using a lot of should statements. You say you should have left the company, you should have changed jobs sooner. Anytime you're using should, could, would, that should be a red. Oh, look at me talking about should. I try not to use it. Hold on. Anytime you're using should, could, would, that is an opportunity for you to view that as a red flag, and an opportunity for you to reframe your thinking, to get away from the black and white, all or nothing critical thinking, and I'm saying this, but like sometimes you're not even aware. Like the purpose of this video too is to help raise awareness around ways of thinking. You have positive ways of thinking and negative ways of thinking. This list consists of the many different negative ways of thinking. And I'll also give you another tip. Sometimes it's not always easy or simple to go from negative to positive, especially if you are not using the word of God to take that like bind that stronghold and like demolish it, right? Or if, something just might have happened and it's just like you're in the negatives. What I like to encourage and coach clients to do is try to go from negative to neutral, because negative to neutral is that much closer to positive. And if right now you're not able to swing the pendulum all the way over from negative to positive, at least get yourself out of the negatives, right? At least get yourself out of the red. Get yourself to, let's call it the black neutral, so that you can get back over to the blue or the green or whatever is like positive land for you. The last one I'll share tonight, number 14, fixed thinking, this too late mentality. It's too late for you, right? That's a lie that you tell yourself. It's too late for you. It's not too late for other people. It's not too late for other people. It's just too late for you, in your opinion. Okay. I am going to have that be our last one. And then when I come back for part 3, I'll give y'all the rest. But, yeah, that's it. I'll see y'all in part 3. Bye.